"Why, Mother of God, the pain is here again." She looked at the midwife, panic in her expression. Then her eyes rolled back in her head, and blood gushed like a river from between her quivering legs. In a matter of moments, the life bled out of her, and she was gone. The pair of women stood silent over the bed, where death had come in a mere blink of an eye, and the air felt strangely empty. The two infants lay in their dead mother's arms, one still crying, and the other quiet and sweet, unaware of what had happened. The handmaiden made the sign of the cross and knelt down, rosary beads hanging from her chain belt, clenched in her hand as she fixed solely on her need to pray for her mistress. Curiously, the midwife stared at the dead woman's belly. "God's teeth! Her belly is moving!" The maid did not respond and was still kneeling on the floor, chanting her prayer with her head resting on the edge of the bed. "There's another child," the midwife shouted. Get up off the ground and help me, lass. If you need to pray over those beads of yours, pray for this last bairn." She cut the last infant, another girl, from the woman's belly and wiped the mucus from her small blue face before she held Babe up and shook her. Then she spotted the child's withered foot. She looked down at the infant and said sadly, "Better if she does not breathe, when her life would be so ill-fated and filled with nothing but unhappiness. No man would ever have her." And the baby cried out. The handmaiden who had loved her mistress became angry and took the poor wee child from the bitter midwife before her wicked prophecies, spoken over such a small and innocent babe, would curse the child. The babe had the palest fringes of silver hair, like the queen's, whose hair had caught and shone in both the sun and moonlight. She cleaned the child and wrapped her in swaddling to hide her feet. Under the wrapping, she slipped a sprig of mistletoe for healing and luck, and some wintergreen to keep her safe. Cradling her in her arms, rocking, she stared down into the perfect face of an angel. "She is beautiful, like her mother. You are wrong, old woman. That she lives is a true miracle. This child is the strongest. God does not curse her. God watches her." The handmaiden faced the midwife and made the sign of the cross. "Before the Lord, I say she will be called Innes, and she lives for no mere man." The Earl of Sutherland rode into the woods, his charger's hooves quiet on the damp earth. In the valley behind him, the battle still raged onward, but inside the stillness of the thick woods, the lack of sound was strange and portentous, not peaceful. He had lived most of his life as a warrior, so he sat straighter in his saddle, an action that was instinctive. Silence usually meant an ambush or death. The air was heavy and moist, and felt slow with no ringing echo of sword clanging against sword, no screams of men and horses, the sounds that had been all around him for the past hours. The moment he came into the clearing, he judged the news was not good. Blood and death was a scent all too familiar to his senses. He dismounted heavily, his sword hilt clanking against his chainmail. The battle had taken its toll on his body, weapons had nicked his mail, and his leg muscles felt heavy as granite. The Queen's guards, valued knights to both her and the king, walked toward him. Sir Hume Gordon nodded toward the tent. "The Queen is dead, my lord." His voice was rough with emotion, and the other knight, Sir Balin of Dundee, made the sign of the cross. Whatever Sutherland thought and felt at the news he concealed, a skill acquired and honed from years of dealing with enemies and traitors. He said nothing as he strode to the tent, threw back the flap, and entered. The Queen lay